Now, in the 1890s, a group of scientists, led by a man named J.J. Thomson, said, what if we could take apart an atom? What if we could split an atom? What if we could come up with a thing that makes atoms? Well, if we could split an atom down to the thing that makes up an atom, well, what if we could split it enough to get down to the basic building block of matter? Well, if we could do that, if we could get down to the thing that makes the things, that makes the things, that makes the things, that makes everything, well, then we could explain why everything is how everything is. So they began splitting an atom. They quickly discovered that an atom can be split into a smaller substance called a quark. Atoms are made up of quarks. But then they discovered you can split a quark. And then they discovered the thing that you can split a quark into, you can split that. And then they discovered that thing that you can split the thing that you can split a thing to make a quark, they can split that. So the quest kind of went whoop, a little bit off track. And to this day, they're saying they agree that they've identified at least 100 subatomic particles. You got your mesons, gluons, nuons, leptons, mesons, endless lists of these unbelievably small things. If you've ever heard the term quantum physics, quanta simply means packets of energy. Because at its core, these atoms and these quarks are simply these bundles of energy. Now, when you get into the subatomic realm, things get very, very strange. They have discovered that a quark can be in one place, can disappear, and appear in another place without traveling the distance in between. They have discovered that a quark is capable of what's called simultaneous duality. They have observed quarks, one quark that is capable of being in two different places at the same time. In 1949, a scientist came up with what's called Bell's Theorem, a personal favorite of mine. Bell's Theorem was essentially this discovery. You can take a quark, an atom, and split it in half, and put one half in New York, and you can put the other half in San Francisco. If you take the quark in New York, and you reverse the spin of its electrons, at that exact moment, the half in San Francisco, its electrons will reverse their spin as well. If you've heard of the butterfly effect, that's essentially a popularizing of Bell's theorem. In New York State, in 1997, they discovered an exotic meson, and we all know how exotic mesons can be. This meson appeared for a trillionth of a second, and then it was gone. They don't really know where it came from, and they don't really know where it went. And so you have these unbelievably brilliant subatomic quantum particle physicists saying things like, I don't know. They have discovered a subatomic particle called a lepton. And the general consensus is that leptons do exist as individual subatomic particles. The only hitch is they've only been able to observe leptons in communities of 2 and 3. And so they say, yes, we understand that this is a single lepton. The problem is we only find them existing in groups of 2 and 3 oneness. And so the Newtonian understanding of cause and effect has simply taken a beating with quantum physics, because you take a picture of an atom, you take a picture of the same atom a second later, they don't know what it's going to do. Well, the assumption was always there's an element of predictability at the very bedrock, foundational part of the universe, but the problem is quantum physicists are just saying, well, when you get right down to the smallest thing that makes a thing that makes a thing that makes a thing, essentially the universe at its core is unpredictable. The best we can come up with is that the universe at its core is some sort of relationship of energy. So you have brilliant, studied, respected research scientists saying, all we can come up with as the universe at its core is made up of some sort of relational energy that we simply can't control. Some of them are even starting to use words like personality. And that this energy that holds everything together, that brought everything into existence and somehow sustains or holds everything in existence, gives life to everything, and simply has a mind of its own. We cannot conquer it or put it in a box. It is simply above and beyond what we can comprehend. High-end particle quantum subatomic physicists are starting to sound a lot like ancient Near Eastern Jewish poets.